Well, for right now, it looks like you just got me. I don't know where Ian is. Oh, the hell is the paperwork? Anyway, uh, we'll see. We'll see what we can do here today. And as always, if you'd like to support us, Ko-Fi.com, the Blanket Fort. And we're about to the point to try to keep the AC on. And as always, King Harv's Coffee. They treat us well. Please treat them well. And remember, you got it here. So, here it comes, Ian. Yeah. Huh?
Later than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Silence this thing. It sounds good. Where are we?
Okay. I've already done the opening.
Good.
So, Ian's always in our hearts. Yeah. Yeah, the monkeys didn't get him yet.
Not for lack of trying.
Yeah. So, since this is supposed to be book day, yeah.
Oh. Oh.
He's dead.
Kill Cecil. There he goes. Back in your basement.
Okay, books. Now that part's been taken care of.
Yes.
Pam Uphoff has a new book out in the Fall of the Alliance series called Aslanov. I wish you'd get off the damn Russian stuff. Aslanov. It's a good little short novella, and it's well done. And the other one that we have is James Copley's Fae Wars, Volume 3, is doing extremely well. It's called Futures Past. And they're already up. They've been out about a month, and they already have over 130 reviews. So that is excellent.
Moving right along.
Yes.
Yours came out yesterday, right?
Which one?
Wolf.
Oh, it was out on the 3rd. Ross 248.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Smacked his monkey.
I beat that thing.
Tom, my Russian is many, many, many moons ago, and I haven't used it since, 75.
Russia
80?
was not my theater of operations.
Yeah.
In Raconteur Press news, Fantafly postcards will be out Friday.
Yep.
That's a great cover, folks. Really great cover.
Yep.
I'd like to congratulate Sam Robb, who has the And Others And More website.
Yeah.
He is now an And More Emeritus. Emeritus?
Yeah.
Emeritus. Anyway, he is no longer to And More because he's on the cover. Let's see.
So, in an effort, we'll see how well this lasts, to keep things positive, I only have one rant this morning.
Uh-oh. This ought to be good.
Computers are garbage in, garbage out.
Yes, I'm going to make it to the live stream, which just showed up.
Oh, nice of you to show up and let me know.
Yeah, I'm going to make it to the live stream.
Yeah, quality over quantity. Well, quality and quantity are different things to computer systems. Anyway, garbage in, garbage out. The U.S. Navy, by direction of DOD, had to switch computer systems about a year ago.
The stone knives and bear skins wore out?
Yeah. And one of the things that got switched around was retired pay and calculations.
FUCKEDAGAIN fucked again.
Yeah.
Oi, oi, fucked again. Oi, oi, DOD has fucked us again.
Yeah, they did. They miscalculated over 1,000 retirees' paychecks
Miscalculated.
that retired in 21 and 22. And they didn't miscalculate them low. They miscounted them high.
Oh, now they owe.
Ding.
Ouch. Ow.
And they did not,
Forgot the lube this time.
yeah, they did not actually cross-check it. They just plugged it into the computer and went, oh, okay, that's what we're supposed to be paying them, and started paying them. Now in 2023, somebody somebody actually, or somebody's plural, actually owned up to the fact that, hey, these numbers don't seem right. So they went back and looked at what was going on, and lo and behold, they had over 1,200 people had been overpaid. And Rick is correct. Of course, the retirees are supposed to repay the overage in one fucking check. Well, some of the overages were over $1,000 a month.
Which now they owe.
They owe, in some cases, $20,000 that they don't have. So now they're trying to figure out how to get the money back. So one of the offers that has been made is, well, you can pay it back by the same amount you were overpaid every month, plus interest.
Translation, lather up and shave your ass.
Yep. Yeah, veterans summon the Congress critters. That's exactly right. So there's also a move to go to Congress and say, hey, not our fault. We didn't do it on purpose. It's your fault. Why should we have to pay it back? Which I happen to agree with. Yeah, take it out of the employees who effed it up. Yes, that would be the preferential way to do it, in my opinion. Yes, Kermit, you can comment. So anyway, yeah, Rick, that's, you and I know that, most people know that. However, there are always people that don't.
If they would take the highest paid member of whatever committee screwed that up and hang them on the Capitol steps, sort of as an encouragement for the rest of them to get their stuff tight and correct.
Yeah.
That would probably go a great deal towards fixing some inefficiency.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, Steph. You're here. That's what counts. So anyway, that's my sole rant for the day. The others I will save for later.
We have more.
No, we're supposed to be positive, remember? So yeah, we're encouraging les autres. Yes.
Yes. The day I see General Milley doing the oxygen jig is a day I shall treasure forever.
Yeah.
Okay. John has sent me a thing of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
And
Speaking
I've
of which,
lost it.
Jonna is drooling over the red dress yet again.
Oh yes, Your Honor, book one of the Sparkle Chronicles closes at the end of the month, guys. If you want to get in on what I fervently hope, will be an internet sensation of Andrew Spargle, tails off, disgusting, you need to get in on this. There will be two others. However, this is the first one that and will require the story to be some sort of adjudication involved. A military tribunal, arbitration, mom and dad handing down justice, whatever. Sent mine. Okay. Okay.
Racketeer Press is not auto receiving for him, by the way.
What?
It should be auto receiving for the stuff coming in, and it's not on the emails.
Okay. Make sure that we actually have that set up, because I don't know. We have auto receive set up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Raconteur Press's Spurgle is already becoming an internet meme, and I'd like it to explode, or as they say, go viral.
Yeah.
Because I really, yes. So, end of the month, end of May, you're the book one, Your Honor, I Can Explain. Book one of the Spurgle Chronicles will be it will end accepting stories. So y'all need to send them in. Tell your buddies to send them in. Tell your family and friends to send them in. And if what's name? Our author currently visiting London.
Manny Ratliff.
Manny Ratliff. Manny, if Henry Cavill's been anywhere you have, ask him to turn in a Space Marine story. I will happily publish that.
Joel makes a good point. What good is positive? Plus 600 volt DC on the New York subway third rail did nothing for the
rat infestation.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Well, apparently, from what I'm hearing back channel, they actually turned off the power when they took over the station to the third rail.
Who took over? Is rats took over station?
Yeah, the protesters.
What protesters?
Oh, there was a big protest over what's his face, the next George Floyd getting quote unquote killed by the Marine.
The guy that had an arrest warrant for punching a woman in the face.
Yeah, on the subway. Yeah.
And multiple arrests, some whom were for assault.
Yeah. He's now being beatified.
Ballistic beatification.
Now, this was supposedly the Marine is going to be charged with murder.
It's New York.
Yeah.
Why? If you're a Marine, why the fuck are you in New York? Why? Why are you in New York?
Yeah.
If you are somebody capable of competent thinking, why the hell are you in New York?
Yeah.
Why? If you do anything logical, you're going to get hemmed up.
Yeah.
Why are you still there?
I think he was visiting family.
Well, then he needs to send the money and have the family come visit him.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing you can do sane and logical that won't get you arrested by the idiot DA out there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another possibility, Joel, is somebody actually found the switch and turned it off. Yeah. I'll do something around the Urban Dictionary definition of spurgling. Okay. Yeah, he was sanctified by strangulation. Yes.
Well, he wasn't technically strangled. It was a choke.
Yeah, he was moving after he was released. So
I'm pretty sure that what happened to that young man was excited delirium.
Yeah.
But
so,
I don't know. Usually a good lateral vascular neck restraint is about the only way you can handle excited delirium. That Kelly, I think I saw Kelly on here.
Yeah,
he can probably vouch for that or tell me I'm wrong. Either way, I'm good either way.
Yeah.
But as far as excited delirium, choking them out and then getting them to the ER is probably the best way to handle it.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, what I want to do is shift over to the positive. Took some folks to the range this weekend.
You did?
Yeah.
I missed out.
Yeah.
Had to work.
And it went fairly well. But one of the comments that was made was, well, you were in my blind spot. Yes, Steph, definitely new shooter smiles. Yes, I was in your blind spot for a reason, because I did not want you concentrating on me. I wanted you concentrating on the target. But I needed to be close enough that if you had a problem, I could grab the pistol. B, I could see what you were doing. And C, that's my job as the instructor.
Well, I hope you all had fun.
Oh, we did. Pre-qualified for your good guy card. Yep, that always helps. Well, James, I had everybody else standing well back. So, but yeah, it's also to make sure you don't flag your fellow shooters. And I did teach everybody position Saul too. So, but it's, getting people to training. Yeah, good point, Kermit. Getting people to training and the chance to actually shoot a weapon. And for one person that was there this weekend, it's the first time he'd ever shot a pistol.
That's weird to me.
Yeah.
But
He's from New York City.
yeah.
Yeah. And now you got to practice. That's always the key point. And one of the things that was brought home to me this weekend is the fact that people, as they age, have physical issues.
No.
Yeah.
No. My shock face. Let me show you it.
Oh, shut up. Oh, that's interesting, Kelly. There's an initiative among MEs to no longer use excited delirium as the cause of death. Huh. Yeah. So some people get into shotguns early, Kelly. Some people get into pistols. Many friends of mine. I got into rifles. So my training was considerably different.
I split the difference. I got a short range rifle.
Yeah.
You got in a long range reach out and touch somebody. I got into the hello.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Good question, Wallbanger.
Wallbanger, what is excited delirium and why does it matter? Okay. Excited delirium is I don't think it's an actual diagnosis, but it's
Yeah, it is a diagnosis.
there was a cluster of there is a cluster of deaths involving my squirrels have just taken off. Anyway, it's a cluster of deaths usually involving police or firemen contact where the deceased was under some pretty heavy stimulants, had been restrained and fighting the restraint to the point that their body temperature rose incredibly high. Continued to fight until collapsing and then turfing off, dying. And they're called excited delirium. You can't get them to stop. And the interesting thing is when this first came to light, a whole bunch of folks started, we can't fight. We can't fight. Well, issue is these people, when they get worked up to this excited state and their body temperature rises, a lot of them, it doesn't matter if they fight or not. They still cook their brains and die. PCP was the first. Meth is bad at it. And it's your brain, I think, and Kelly can probably, yeah, he's on it.
Yeah.
Kelly is brilliant on medical stuff, by the way. Anyway, so you've got somebody that's on some pretty heavy stimulants, probably past history of mental, starts getting into an excited state, and his brain won't shut down. It just keeps amping him up and amping him up, and his body temperature raises, and near as I can tell, they cook. There have been, I was talking to Chuck Haggard about this. There have been some success stories with people that are what the early stages of excited delirium. They're agitated, fighting, they can't stay still, and an old school cop chokes them out. And it hits the reset button, the old brain, long enough to get them to ER.
Yeah.
And then the up in the panhandle, what the ER does is pump them full of sedatives and let them sleep it off.
Well, so having encountered one of those back in the day on PCP on January the 2nd, buck naked with a silver 44 Magnum in the back of a mall, that we got called out to wet the individual down because the cops were not going to go in and try to take the gun away from him. So We were specifically requested to bring the rig with the water cannon on top. And it was one of those, you want me to do what?
Kelly says sedate them to the eyeballs.
Yeah.
The B-52 is making a comeback for suspected excited delirium. If you can get them to the ER,
Yeah.
they hit them with a B-52, which is Benadryl, Ativan, and I forget,
Something else.
Haldol,
I think it's Helidol.
Ativan, and Benadryl, and it's night time.
Yeah.
We had that's the old school chemical restraints when a judge ordered somebody to be chemically restrained. It's generally a B-52 that did it, and we had a guy that was headed. He had smoked himself stupid, and he was not getting better. And the judge ordered chemical restraint. So the jail nurse pulled up a B-52, and I got 4 of the biggest knuckle dragging monsters we had, and we went in and we were fighting him, and we wanted to do it quick because he needed put him out. And here's this pig pile, and our career's under it. And he's doing push-ups, and he's lifting. There's a solid 700 pounds of meat on him. And he's doing push-ups. And this little bitty jail nurse comes flying. Look, I see him flying over the pile, and ice picks that syringe. And one of my best officers go, oh, and it fell over. And she went, oh, damn. Went back, got the second one because you always draw 2, and got the inmate, put him out. Then we picked up my officer when we put him in the control room, and we sort of turned him to face the light, the sunshine every now and then, and watered him once every 2 hours. He sat there for 12 hours.
Yeah, we hit this guy, knocked him down, knocked the gun away from him. They pig piled him, got him in, took 2 sets of cuffs because he was so big. Got him on the stretcher in the ambulance, strapped him down with leather straps, and one of the officers went to get in the back with him. And the next thing we know, the officer comes flying back out. The guy had broken the stretcher.
Yeah.
There went the pig pile again.
And that's not good because the more they fight, the higher their body temperature gets, the more acidosis, the higher the acidic. Yeah. And it
didn't help that this was January and he was butt naked and wet. Yeah. So they finally dogpiled him and hauled ass and got him to the hospital, and they hit him with something. Anyway, on a more positive note, question for the readers.
Wait. Kelly says, ketamine. I love ketamine. Sometimes I even give it to my patients. Kelly.
Yes, hysterical strength is a thing.
Oh, yeah. And it's not hysterical strength. It's just.
Well, the cases on video of women picking up a car to get their child out from under.
Yeah, it's not hysterical strength. That's normal human strength.
Yeah.
It's just the hysteria takes out the middle blocks we put on using our full strength.
Yeah.
People.
ALS is right. The don't break yourself limits get turned off.
Yeah. The limit on human strength is the musculature.
Yeah.
The bones, the body support system, the bones, tendons, ligaments. And if you go too far, you will tear one, or you'll break a bone, you'll tear a ligament or a tendon. So your brain has everything set at about 20% for the normal person. You can go about 20% of your max because you can't hurt you shouldn't be able to break a bone or tear ligaments. I read somewhere that professional weightlifters can do 40. Maybe a few up to 50. Nobody's ever really under
normal circumstances
tested the limit of the human because they just tear themselves apart.
But you do get those cases where people go well beyond anything that's supposedly physically possible, and they're not injured.
Well,
yeah, but being what it is. Look at a pissed great ape. Yeah.
I hate to say it, we're just basically hairless apes.
Yeah.
And if we're every bit as strong as they are. They just don't have the internal limits we do.
Yeah. So the question I want to pose to the readership commenters, whatever the hell you want to call yourselves out there, the Written Peanut Gallery.
Oh God.
What do you do to take a break? Do you read? Do you write? Do you go shoot? Do you work on something? Projects? What do you do to go take a break? I'm just curious. I know I used to love to work on old cars and do restorations because I physically got to see what I was doing. I saw the productive endpoint of it.
If I'm writing and if I'm blocked if I'm quitting because I'm blocked,
Yeah.
there's one in my head that I'm probably going to write at work because I can't get out of my head. It's got to get out of my head. It can't stay there. If I'm writing this and I already know there's a part I haven't figured out yet, I will get up and pace.
Yeah.
John has seen me do it. I get up and pace. If I finish the story, I'll go work on guns.
Yeah.
If I don't have a gun to work on, I'll take apart everything I have 14 or 15 times.
We've seen that.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll just take it apart and just, I'd like to garden,
Yeah.
but I touch stuff, it dies.
Yeah. Black thumb here too.
Cedar, bless her little heart, has given me some pepper plants, and I pass them to Rita. It's like, baby, she grows things. She throws things at the ground and it grows. I buy the special potting soil and the special fertilizer and the special pots, and I plant everything according to excruciating directions, and it dies on me. Rita throws it at the ground, and there you go. So I give it all to Rita.
Yeah. Read, go to the gym. Gym, yeah, that's a place where you can turn your brain off. Some people like Wallbanger goes the other way, something totally immersive.
Well, that's the thing about working on guns. It is
Yeah.
immersive for me.
Yeah. It's a form of Zen. Craft projects. For me, Zen is shooting.
When I get the uplifted tails done, I will probably change the sights on my Glock again because I'll sit there and change the sights on my Glock, or I might upgrade the controls. I don't know yet.
Yeah. Sharpening blades of all types and sizes. Yeah. That's immersive, and it forces you to concentrate on something. Joel says 16-month-old and a 7-year-old relaxation. Yeah.
I like to shoot. I don't have anywhere to shoot, and honestly, shooting is not as relaxing for me. To me, shooting is work. And when I get done shooting, I'm more alert. I'm generally more alert when I get done with the course of fire than I was. I'm not relaxed. I'm more alert than, especially if I'm doing something, because short range carbine is my jam. I'm decent with a pistol. Short range carbine is really my jam. From contact out to about 100 yards, focusing on contact to 50 yards, 50 meters is really my jam. That's not relaxing. It's speed, speed and precision. You got to balance speed and precision, and that's not a relaxing thing to do. I've watched Kelly. Now Kelly can get out there and bust a box of clays with a shotgun and be perfectly happy.
Yeah,
he will be calm and happy. Go drink a beer and have a good time. I get done with a shoot house, and I'm not relaxed.
Yeah, see, and a lot of people are game players. I can't play games. I don't get into them. I've played board games growing up.
I played America's Army when it first came out, online shooter. Me and Matt Hambright, Reno, we played. We used to kick the shit out of the kids on America's Army. But I get addicted to that. If I start playing America's Army, I'll do that over anything else. I won't write. I won't.
I love Tom's comment. Married to an Irish Catholic redhead with a type A personality. I never relax. Not if you want to survive, Tom.
Not going there.
Yeah. If you've had kids, anything that gets you out of the house so you can relax is good. Of course,
Now-
the only fair way to do that is you have to split time with your significant other so they get a chance to go relax.
Hunting and fishing, on the other hand, does relax me. Probably because I don't actually do any shooting when I'm hunting.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, considering our luck last few years.
no
yeah.
kidding. And we need to find a new hunting spot.
Mm.
Fishing and hunting is relaxing as long as I don't get sunburned. If I go fishing, I get sunburned. It's not relaxing at all. But fishing is relaxing to me. There's a crappie house. For those of you who don't know, a crappie house is generally a barge on a lake with a central moon pool.
Yeah.
And it's covered. It's a enclosed barge, a central moon pool, and they permanently anchor it over Christmas trees in the lake. And crappie love that.
Yeah.
And a crappie barge, you sit inside, sometimes air conditioned, with overhead cover, and you fish for crappie. And as long as there's nobody else there, that is incredibly relaxing.
Anymore as broke as I am, shooting and basically volunteer work. Down at the American Legion over the past, well, now then the 4th year, we have pretty much rebuilt the inside of the Legion Hall. And it's basically 5 of us that were old retired farts. Thankfully, 2 of whom are Seabees, retired Seabees, so they actually knew what they were doing.
My grandfather, my mother's father, had a little crappie barge on one of the lakes. I think it was Kickapoo, but it might be Diversion. I don't. It was a long time ago, and it was. You had the central hole, and the back deck was covered. You could cast out, and there were 2 bunk beds and a fridge. And that, when I was a child and we were stateside, was my happy place.
Yeah.
That was my happy place. I'd go, it was dark in there. I like the dark. It's dark in there, and I would catch crappie and bluegill and carp until I got tired. Then I'd lay down in one of the bunk beds and I'd doze until it was time to drive back to Electra. And they'd load me up in the back of the car, and that was my happy place.
Baby's mopping the floor because I won't let him drink out of the dog's water.
Yeah, I say crappie houses, and I've been looking at some.
No, Doug, we will not use the American Legion next year because of the Karen down there. I refuse to kowtow to her wishes. I am looking at other facilities. I used to love to go for a drive with a stick shift. Just get out and get a back road and go have fun. And I think a large part of that came from my grandfather and grandmother, who would always do a Sunday drive.
That used to be the thing.
You know, and Grandpa was always telling me, "Yep, our air conditioning is 255, 2 windows down, 55 miles an hour."
Guns have guns, woman. Yeah, no kidding. Her issue is the booze.
Yeah.
And we can't have a fool's I'm sorry. And this sounds really bad.
Well, it's booze and guns both.
Sounds really bad, but we can't have a fool's con without booze.
Yeah.
Which makes us sound like a bunch of alcoholics. But holy gods.
Yeah, stick shift, rear wheel drive, and a winding mountain road. Well, Sarah, you're in a different part of the world, so yes. Over there, rules are advisory in nature. Yeah, the airing out the husband. One of my shipmates just sent me pictures this weekend, and I've often wondered how he fits in the Mini Cooper that he bought, because he's a big, tall guy, but he's got basically a hot rod Mini Cooper and jet engine mechanic. What can I say? They apparently had 40 some odd Mini Coopers go up and drive the Dragon in North Carolina, which is a infamous, very, very twisty, very uh, 2-lane road in the mountains of North Carolina.
Okay.
And he was remarking that this is the 9th year that he's done it.
The fourth and sin no more.
Yeah.
The place that we hunt, we've taken Kelly there at least twice, I think.
Yeah.
Has single man and double man blinds. And one of my best hunting trips, I sat in a 2-man blind with Rita's dad, and we sat there and talked the entire morning until a buck smacked an antler on the back door walking by. And when we got the door open and out with guns, all we saw was his tail disappearing into a mesquite thicket. Bastard.
Yeah. Kermit, she has the power because
Don't go there.
yeah, she's female and they've let her get away with it. And oh, by the way, she is now the post commander for next year.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, which means I will probably be going to a different American Legion post.
There's just going out to a deer stand, a high or even a high hide. I love
Yeah.
high hides. There's a high hide at this site that the old boy doesn't use because nobody knows how to shoot from one. And I'm like, put me in the high hide. Just getting out there in the quiet before morning nautical twilight, usually, is when you get out there. And the night things are going to bed and the
Yeah.
day things are about to wake up. And the in-betweens, like the foxes, are still wandering around. And you get into the blind and you close the doors and it eventually warms up. You have the little pocket
Yeah.
heaters if you need.
Yeah.
And you just don't have to think. You listen to everything moving around. And if you're quiet in a blind, they don't know you're there. Everything's moving around and either going to bed or getting up or going about their business. And you watch the sun come up
Yeah.
and the light along the clouds. And then if you're lucky, you can smack Bambi and stick him in a cooler.
Yeah. Unless it's frickin' Rupert.
Bloody Rupert. Bloody Rupert. I hate Rupert. What annoys me about the old boy closing down what he's doing
Yeah.
is the fact that fucking Rupert's going to get away.
James, there is one VFW post here, but it's a bunch of drunks. And in talking to people down there, they said, yeah, even if you rent the hall, people are still going to come in and drink.
Other people will come in.
Yeah.
I've actually heard that.
Yeah.
There were a couple of people who were having rented the VFW for their personal affairs.
Yeah.
And had VFW members just barge on in and help themselves at the bar.
Bluegrass songs about moonshine runners. Yeah. You talk to some of those people that are my age and much older now, and they will tell you stories about, shut up. Don't look at me in that tone of voice. Driving the back roads. Yes, I qualify for the VFW, but I'm not a member. I am American Legion and Fleet Reserve. Just like I'm not a Shriner, because when I was raised in Masonry, the Shrine Temple was a bunch of drunks, and I don't need that. So but you talk to some of those old boys about running the back roads all over the country, not just in North and South Carolina or in the South, but out here. Running moonshine, running beer. It was illegal in the state of Texas to cross county lines with a case of beer.
bootlegging. and what-
Bootlegging, yeah.
Bootlegging was still a ticketable offense when I first started in '93.
Yeah. The there, a friend of ours, Johnny Guest, told some funny stories about
Oh Lord.
chasing bootleggers.
Kelly says, "Hi, hide. That's my Africa childhood joy." Yes. I don't know why more Americans don't like high hides. I really don't. High hides are great.
Well, I don't, for one simple reason. One of the guys, this was many years ago, that I was hunting with in the Navy, fell out of one.
Well, that's his own damn fault.
Yeah. But he ended up with rifles.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing about, and not talking about tree stand and a high hide are two completely different
Yeah.
things. A high hide's a platform with a chair on it.
Yeah.
On a tripod or a quad pod. And you're 10, 20 feet up on a 5 foot by 5 foot platform. That's a high hide.
Yeah.
If you fall off of that, I got issues. We got more issues than.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, it's a tree house without the roof.
Of course, some of them also have roofs.
Some of them do. Actually, some of them do. And the great thing about them is leopards can't find it a lot more difficult to get in there with you.
Yeah. Oh. Friend of mine who's sadly passed away a few years ago, moved out to West Virginia and bought property and had enough acreage to do hunting on the property. And his job was he worked as the download manager for NASA at Vent Hill. So this was really out in the country. So he built himself a tree stand. Well, take it back. Started out as a tripod with a platform on top. And over about 5 years, this thing turned into a 2-story building.
Yeah.
Small 2-story building with running water, lights, AC, heat.
Once you have the running water in there, it's no longer a hide.
Yeah. But he would hunt out of it.
Oh, sure.
And he would get a couple of deer every year. And his wife told me one time, she says, "Yeah, I can tell when that son of a bitch wants to get away from me. He goes out to his hide or his hide and he hides." And she says, "And I put my foot down about him putting a damn bar in there."
But one of the best ones was that I ever saw was on a Land Rover, and it was higher off the ground than the length of the Land Rover.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and you could pop something, and then you hear the whoosh as the leopard would go by under.
Yeah.
Because leopards, people don't understand that leopards are smart and vicious and sneaky little bastards. And if you are a people McNugget in a nice carry-out container, while you're focusing on your Impala or your Gazelle, the leopard's sneaking up on you. And as long as you're not pointing the bang stick at him, he'll take a shot at you.
Yeah.
He really will. And there's been more than one time been more than once a hunter's been zoomed in on something, getting ready to drop the hammer, hear the whoosh as the leopard, went by under, trying to claw as it went by.
Yeah.
Like, leopards.
Yeah, Padre. There are some places where the houses the tree houses were houses and they were for protection from other tribes. Yes. Very true.
I don't understand. I don't understand why high hides aren't. Tree stands are very very common, particularly in the east and northeast. And then down here, what you have are deer stands, which at most of them sit on the ground. It's a box, sits on the ground with windows that you shoot out of. At most 10 feet off the ground. It's not a high hide. It's a hide, but not a high hide. I don't understand, because the great thing about high hides is, or one of the great things, it keeps leopards out from under your hat. The other thing that's great about high hides is if you're in what?
Padre was living in New Guinea back in the early 80s.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Great. The thing about high hides, if you're on constrained hunting limits, Texas, it's hard to find. It's hard to find hunting ground in Texas, and when you do, you sometimes have to share it.
Yeah.
If you're in a high height shooting down, you're not necessarily going to pop the next guy over.
Yeah.
He's not necessarily going to pop you.
Oh, that's interesting, Tom. Dude put a small house on top of a grain silo. I hope to hell he cleaned that grain silo out well. Wow.
Dust explosion.
Yeah. The
Just watch the
original,
house.
the original Levy.
Dust explosion. Oh, look, honey, there go the kids. Low Earth orbit. Kids go stand fire. Fool, exactly.
Parents were missionaries. Yeah, that would explain it. I have
Yes,
some
you know-
relatives that are currently missionaries in Uganda
Why?
because that's where the church sent them.
They don't get a second choice?
Nope.
Okay.
And their daughter broke her arm and they had to drive her to Ethiopia to get treatment.
No.
Yeah.
One of the things when I was growing up,
6 hours.
when I was growing up here, when we visited during our childhood, and then after we had to move here. I was the only person. Me and Chris and Julie were the only people that I knew of that had been overseas. And now that the internet is here, I'm meeting all these folks that also grew up in Africa and New Guinea, other misbenighted places. And it's kind of nice.
Padre says, fun place to grow up, but you can see the end of the world out the back window.
No kidding.
Yeah. Having flown down in that part of the world, yes.
Oh,
Yeah, dental work. Doctors Without Borders.
grain dust that vault? Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Grain dust is the original dust explosion.
yeah.
Lady Lark, aka Courtney, says a bunch of my second cousins are missionaries in Argentina. That branch of family has been since 1950s. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Everybody's different.
In so many different ways.
Yeah. Better, worse, otherwise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Grain dust is that volatile.
Yes. Yeah, that's
It wasn't the original gunpowder because it has to be dispersed in air. You can't inside a barrel. It just, at best, if you mix it with an oxidizer, it's a rocket, but it won't launch anything.
yeah, the dust gets stirred up by any number of ways. And one of the problems back in the day was they didn't use fans. So what they would do is they would open the top of the silo would basically be open, and they would open a door on the bottom to get ventilation, quote, quote. Well, what happens when you have a good wind is that you get the Bernoulli effect, which actually
pulls
pulls
it
the
out.
dust up and makes it aerosolized.
It's got to be dispersed.
Yeah.
I blew up a barracks in a army installation. Will not be named. Well, I didn't. I was teaching some kids. I was ETSing, and I was a short timer. I was teaching some kids how to use it's an explosives course that won't be mentioned. And I showed up one time, and it says World War II barracks, and they were all sorts of happy because they'd read the manual, E4s.
Yeah.
When you want them to read the manual, they don't read the manual. When you don't expect them to read the manual, little bastards will read the manual. And got there, they took me up to they took me inside, and there was a coffee can with a road flare on the bottom floor. I thought, I know where this is going. Went upstairs, and there was a 25-pound bag of flour with an X cut in the top. And under it was a little daisy chain about that long of det cord. And they were giggling, and I was looking at this thinking, oh, why the hell not? Det cord went off, blew the flour up. Flour started sifting down through the cracks because it was World War II barracks. And down the stairwell, hit the road flare. They found pieces of the barracks went past me, and I was at double minimum safe distance.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
I lowered one of the Army forts by a good 6 feet one time, walking past the sergeant major's pit with a palm full of MRE coffee creamer. And as I walked by, I flung it up in the middle of their smoke circle.
yeah, because
I would-
it will definitely blow up on you.
It flares.
Yeah.
It flares quite nicely. It'll trim your eyebrows for you. And I did push-ups until my arms fell off,
Yeah,
but it was worth it.
yeah, yeah. As Kermit says, that was not minimum safe distance. Yeah, well, that you calculate
You can
minimum
calculate.
safe distance.
I didn't have the volume of the space the explosive was confined to. I didn't have that. I don't think I had that figured out quite right.
I still remember Peter's story about the bridge they blew up in a certain country while he was still active duty, where they'd been told to go blow the bridge up. So their engineers calculated how much explosives, and they're headed toward the bridge with a cart with explosives. And I think he said it was the master sergeant that stopped him. Said, "What are you doing?" "We're going to go blow up the bridge." "That's not enough. Double it."
Double it.
So they go back, double it. They're headed back to the bridge again with even more explosives. And some major goes, "Where are you going?" "To blow the bridge up, sir." "That's not enough. Double it." Went back, got more explosives, another cart. Peter said when the bridge blew, they had bridge supports landing behind them.
Said when I was actually a PFC. I was not a sergeant. I was a PFC, and I was annoyed at the sergeant major for some reason. I forget what I was. Me and the sergeant major didn't like each other, and I was on a mission. That's the same one that I put the CS crystals in the ashtray in the smoke pit. So he put out his cigar. He gassed himself. I to this day don't remember what he did that pissed me off so bad. But it didn't explode. When I did the MRE creamer, it did explode. It just flared. It set his eyebrow. It probably set his eyebrows on fire. I was annoyed.
Yeah. Ordnance taking a dead run outranks everybody. True.
I was an E6 during the barracks demo.
Yeah.
At Ordnance Tech, a dead run outranks. You are not kidding.
Yeah. Pyro guys on the movie they show at the Alamo. Yeah. Pyro is a different mindset, I guess is the best way to say it.
Oi.
Yeah. Usually involving alcohol.
Oi. I don't drink all that much. You've seen me setting off pyro at Colorado. I don't drink when I'm setting off the booms.
I know, but I've seen you at other times when
Now,
you.
boy.
Yeah, you see me running, trying to keep up.
If I'm running, something has gone very, very bad. And you don't have to run if you don't want to, but I strongly advise it.
Yeah. My FSO at my company in Virginia was a former Army EOD who had been blown up 5 times.
You're not very good at it then.
That's what I said. He said, "So you're not very good at it." He says, "No, that was trying to get to the ID I was supposed to be working on. I got blown up 5 times."
I do not know. To life of me, I don't know why they don't just blow every IED in place. I don't understand this waddling over to diffuse something that's got a 150 meter kill radius.
Yeah. Well, the one.
Blow it in place. Move on.
What was the
Well,
movie?
the village might go up. The village shouldn't have let him put it there.
Yeah,
Blow it
what
in place.
was-
Move on.
The movie that Renner was in about EOD techs.
The Hurt Locker.
Hurt Locker, yeah. I was talking to him about that one, and he said, "Oh yeah, I got one of those where I defused one and pulled wires, and 4 more bombs came." He said, "Yeah, I had to change my shorts after that one."
I just
Yeah,
I can do a explosive form penetrator shape charge, or not a shape charge. I've lost a word.
Yeah.
Lost 2 words. Lost a phrase. I can hit a 55-gallon drum, and John Glaze and I discussed this the other day because he did the same thing I did.
Yeah.
I can hit a 55-gallon drum at 100 yards with a liquid molten metal slug, and that will take care of most IEDs.
Yeah. Yeah, Coopery was an EOD tech, still is an EOD tech. I think he's in the reserves.
Is he?
I think.
I thought he was smarter than that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've read the Pickrick. Yes, Richard, I have read the Pickrick acid story in Funranium Labs, and whoo,
Yeah.
I broke out in a sweat just looking at the picture.
Yeah.
Who the hell puts a smiley face on a picric acid label? Supersaturated picric acid, smiley face. Really? That's the last thing you're going to see before God is a smiley face on a picric acid label. You ain't right.
Well, what do you expect?
Yeah, point.
Yeah.
I'd probably do the same thing. It's smiley face have Norns. No, it didn't. Now you can see the pictures. It's they got the pictures of the picric. There's picric acid and something else.
Yeah.
And it's the picric acid is super saturated. It's crystallizing. There's crystals that thick in the bottom of this bloody huge jar. It's got picric acid, whatever, and a smiley face. It's like, seriously?
Well, and Richard brings up a good point. People that do the UXBs, not only in England, but also on the continent, and the farmers that dig them up out of the fields and then stack them off to the side of the road so that they can come pick them up.
Oh, that's not the worst of it. What people don't understand, this was part 3. It was going to be part 3 of my the Russian gas line, but I'm not going there because, damn, boy, a bunch of people hate my guts over that friggin' Nord Stream post. But the Baltic Sea is the world's largest unexploded ordnance dump. There are 300 million tons from World War II alone of unexploded ordnance in the Baltic Sea. 300 million. I think.
I'm not sure that the English Channel doesn't have more than that.
Well, no, they didn't dump anything, but all of after the war, they took everything that everybody had and shoved it off in the Baltic Ocean, Baltic Sea.
Oh, yeah.
And they did that to World War I, too. When World War I was over with, everybody's unexploded ordnance went into the Baltic. When World War II was done, everybody's unexploded ordnance went into the Baltic.
Yeah.
There are more kaboomite. There's more kaboomite at the bottom of the Baltic than just about anywhere else. And I'm not going there because the amount of hate and discontent by Nord Stream, I'm not going through that again.
There's the accent. Yes.
What?
Yeah, your accent
Oh.
came out.
Bugger.
I still think one of the best ones, talking about unexploded ordnance, was the RAF post over in England that had a live giant bomb at the front gate. The something like a 10,000 pounder at the front gate. That was live.
Oh, there was a National Guard armory somewhere here in the States back in the 80s or 90s that had shells, and they'd welded chains. The fence was shells on it with chains welded to each shell. And some artillery guy, I think it was an infantry, National Guard. I think it was infantry.
Stuff.
Some ordnance guy walked by, stopped, looked at the 2 shells beside the path. They turned out to be VR-22.
Yeah, and they had the fuses in them. If I remember
Yeah,
right.
and he'd been welding to a nerve gas shell.
English Channel is currently filled with economic adventurers. Yeah. And hopefully they blow their fucking selves up.
Anyway,
Chemical shells from World War I test range in the state. Yep.
yeah, and then you talk to Gunsmith Joe about the time he was working for Fish and Wildlife, and they came across a cabin that had been unoccupied for 100 years.
Yeah.
Since it was just a cabin. It was a dugout cabin somebody built when the Frontier was in Nebraska, and then abandoned. And yeah, the Fish and Wildlife been going past it for decades, and he and a buddy opened it, saw the case of dynamite sitting on the table, and backed out very, very, very carefully.
My best friend, who was law enforcement, it was also EOD. He had SWAT training and EOD training. And this happened over in Texarkana, outside of Texarkana. There was this farm that was being sold, had an old barn on it. And the company that was doing the destruction thankfully opened the door of the barn before they pushed it over, because there was a case of dynamite sitting on the ground, and it smelled strange.
Gave him a headache.
Yeah. So they called.
If your dynamite has a smell that gives you a headache,
Yeah.
You're screwed. You're so screwed.
They called EOD, called PD. Bill responded, and he always carried his gear with him, so he had to, waddle over there in July. Opened it, took one look, went, "Oh shit!" So
Nancy,
they backed the truck in, and they'd gotten a brand new bomb trailer.
time to stress test the bomb trailer.
So he manages to get it up and out and into the bomb trailer, closes the hatch, and then tells the deputy to pull off and put it on the road. And the deputy was pulling off and cut the corner a little too short, and the trailer kind of went thud, and there was a
Bottomed
loud
out.
thump,
It bottomed out.
and all of a sudden the trailer was in the back of the truck.
Compress those springs.
It had also blown, so it compressed the springs, bent the I-beam trailer hitch, and flipped it literally into the bed of the truck. And Bill said the deputy was sitting there going, "Am I still alive?"
Nancy asked if the dynamite the gunsmith Joe found was sweaty. Unknown, because Joe saw dynamite in ancient lettering and backed out very slowly.
Yeah.
Then he and a buddy got permission, stood off 300 yards, and banged at it with 30-06s for a couple hours until it found the whole dugout disappeared in a flash and splinters.
Yeah. And on that note, folks, we've wasted another
we have.
hour of your time.
Don't forget, Book 1, Sparrow Chronicles.
Remember.
Your Honor,
Don't say don't forget. Say remember.
Book 1, Sparrow Chronicles. Your Honor, I can explain. We close accepting submissions end of the month. Buy Jim's the book, the anthology Jim's in. He needs the money. Buy his book.
Also, buy the other books that we recommended. Hell, buy any of our books. We could all use the money.
Why don't you say don't forget?
What is the key word in that statement? Forget.
Okay.
If you say remember, the key word is remember.
Okay.
If I tell you to forget something, you're going to forget it. If I tell you to remember something, you're going to remember it.
If you tell my squirrels to forget something, they will remember that thing until the end, until the heat death of the universe.
All right, so you're ass backwards from everybody else. Ah, what you say is very important. Yes. So remember, Twisted Tropes needs reviews too. Thanks, folks.
Don't forget / remember that we're not going to accept those. We'll stop accepting those after the end of the month. So there, y'all be happy.
Oh, remember, folks, don't pet the sweaty stuff. Don't sweat the petty
Y'all
stuff.
be safe.
We'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye.